Grandma's Kitchen.
There's a fiddle tune and a wooden spoon while she's stirring and singing. There's friends leaving or family land, and then the phone's usually ringing. No matter who you are or what you've done, everything's forgiven.
Thank God. Thank God.
Thank God. Grandma's Kitchen. And ain't it good to be in Grandma's Kitchen?
Grandma's Kitchen.
Hello everybody! Mary Janet here from Tunes and Wooden Spoons. And of course, had a lot of technical issues with Facebook today. I had to update the app and then I had to reinstall it. So I'm really sorry for the delay. Today we are so happy to have Anne Marie Woodgate with us. She's a pastry chef at the Wood Road restaurant and from Dartmouth, but living in Cape Breton while she's working here, and I'm so happy to have her, and I'll bring her in a moment. I'm going to turn down our music here. There, I'll just turn it off. So this week is Kitchen Fest here in Cape Breton from August the 27th until September the 4th. So I have personally no entertainer today. You just got me. And I have Anne Marie, and she's pretty special. And so we're going to give this a try and see if she can teach me how to bake this beautiful dessert. I actually baked it on my own last night so that we would have a product to share with you today, and we could have tea, her and I, at the end of the show, because the blueberry compote has to rest in the fridge for 2 to 3 hours before we can put it on. So I made it last night. And so we're going to go through the whole recipe. I'm going to show you. This is the finished product that I made last night. And she'll be divvying that up momentarily. So before I go and get her in here, I wanted to tell you that today my grandson Jake out there in Fort McMurray is turning 19 today. Happy birthday, Jake. And he's Tammy's third oldest. And this week coming up on Thursday and Friday, our twins, Kelly and Krista, will celebrate their birthdays. Now, they're identical twins, but they have different birthdays. Kelly was born on September 2nd, and Krista was born on September the 3rd. They were just on before and after midnight. So we've always helped celebrate it on different days because they wanted that when they were little. And now they celebrate together. So happy birthday, Kelly and Krista, this week coming up. Before we begin, I think that's all. I have lots of things to talk to you about when we're coming after we're having our tea. And I just want to thank you for coming back again this week. How do you top last week? Wasn't Ashley amazing? And he was such a great asset for me, you know, asking the questions about the fish cakes and whatever. And of course, he's here and very involved in the Kitchen Fest this week. So we're hooray for Ashley and all our local musicians that are out there this week at so many venues. Go to kitchenfest.ca if you want to go to something grand. Going back to the blueberry cake that I made, the one I made last night, I made it with blueberries, high bush blueberries that are my daughter and grandson, Krista and Luke, picked yesterday for me over in West Mabu. It's on the honor system. They tell you how much it is. You put the coins in the little box and you pick what you want. And so that's what I used. But today, what I'm using are wild blueberries from Craignish Mountain, just up the road, 20 minutes. They were picked by very good friends of ours, Mark and Elaine Pettipas, and I'm rewarding them by their coming for supper tonight, so we'll have dessert. So hooray for Cregnish and hooray for West Mabu, and it's great to have something local. Okay, I'm going to bring on right here with me, or here, wherever she needs to be, is Pastry Chef Anne Marie Woodgate. Come on in. You can come right here. And Anne Marie, as I said, lives in Dartmouth.
Yeah, no, thank you very much for having me.
Oh.
I'm really excited. It was really nice when you were able to come to Wood Road with your son.
Yes. So we, as many of you may know, we went to the restaurant where she is the pastry chef and has been very involved in Wood Road restaurant since the very beginning. And it's operated by Peter and Daryl McDonnell, and they've incorporated this girl into the picture. And who was the chef? Peter?
Daryl.
Daryl is the
Peter is the one who kind of had the property and wasn't sure exactly what he wanted to do with it. He knew he always wanted to build a timber frame house.
Yes.
And Daryl was the one who, was like, we should put a restaurant there. So that's kind of how it all evolved into what Wood Road is today.
And you knew Peter or Daryl before? You worked with him? Did you?
At the Celtic Lodge in Ingonish. That's where we met. So
oh my gosh, it's just absolutely, if you ever get the chance to go to the Wood Road restaurant, you deserve an outing like that, because it's just about 25 people.
20 to 25 people a night.
And how late do they go into September?
So we are open till the end of October.
Oh, okay.
So pretty much a full kind of seasonal.
And they book online, so everybody, the 20 to 25 people sit, and everybody gets the same courses,
meal,
right? The same meal, all the starters and whatever. I mean, it's really a touch of amazing. You just feel very elite when you're sitting there. And you can bring your own wine, and you have there's a corking fee, right? And or they have liquor and wine there. A big selection. And the kitchen is wide open there. You can watch what they're making. And so when we went, Mitchell and I, on the Lobsterlicious tour put on by Destination Cape Breton, we were just so thrilled to be there. And we had a great conversation with Peter and Daryl downstairs after the meal was all over. And they said, you should have Anne Marie on the show. And I think I ran back upstairs and I asked you,
you introduced yourself, and I was like, I already know who you are, and I knew about the Tunes and Wooden Spoons, so I was
awesome.
Really excited.
Well, thank you for being here. So it's just us today, as I said, and we're going to get started right away. The oven is set to 350. I'm going to wash my hands, and so is Anne Marie, and we'll get started. Are you going to start with the compote first?
Yeah, we can do the compote first.
All right, and the recipe has already been posted on my website and on Facebook, all right? So I'll just be quick here. There you go. So I'm going to be an assistant chef is called a sous chef?
Yes.
I can be that. And I was rushing today too before just when Anne Marie got here, because I'm having supper tonight. Remember when we made this with Jimmy Inch and who else was that? Jason Price. I made the braided herb bread. The recipe is online. So we're having that with our pasta supper tonight.
It smells fabulous.
It's such an easy recipe. If you've got 2 hours, you have time to make it. It's great. Yeah. So you tell us, and I'll help you, but I'm gonna get you to start it off, and I'll maybe see. I'll kind of put the camera down.
Yeah, so they get a better view.
There we go.
Definitely.
So I'll read off the recipe. So you are going to be putting in 2 cups of blueberries.
So we're fortunate enough to have the wild blueberries that she was talking
Right.
about earlier.
From
So
Craignish.
we'll put that just right in the pot there.
Yeah, and I'll maybe put that over so that we can see it a little better. Okay, we've got our induction burner here, and hopefully that will work fine. And so and then 3 tablespoons of white sugar. Here we go.
Thank you.
She was going to pre-measure everything, and I said, you know what? I love to do it with those who are baking, and let's just do it little by little. We do have our eggs out at room temperature. We have our cream cheese softening over there. And
yeah, and you just throw the sugar right in with the blueberries.
okay. And then the zest of 1 lemon.
I find lemon and blueberries just such a classic.
It is. Now, when you're doing that, and I know that we've told people this before, but we try not to get any of the white in, right?
Yeah, definitely, because it's the more bitter
part.
that
Okay.
doesn't taste quite as nice.
That's right.
in
That's
there.
right. And I feel bad, but there's a pesky fly around here today. It's that season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when you're picking blueberries, they can come out
Oh,
to play too. At least they did last year when I would pick some in Margaree for
Oh, yeah?
a lot of the desserts I did.
Yes.
And-
Well, that's what I was so impressed by when we went to the wood road, is how fresh everything was. It was the wild strawberries that you had
Yeah.
in the dessert.
Yeah.
So
those
tell us what you had dessert for the month of July. The menu changes every month, right?
Yeah, the menu changes every month, and for July, I decided to do a strawberry-filled eclair. It was something kind of new for me. I've made eclairs before, but at Wood Road, it was the first time that I had done that because July, it's strawberry season, and so I thought, and I was able to get this chocolate that I kind of had my eye on. It's a strawberry-flavored chocolate, which is just really kind of more fun and exciting for me to work with, just to make the glaze on top of the eclair. But I would, on the Wood Road property, there are wild strawberries that grow, so I would kind of pick them in the grass there, and then there was also some strawberries that were planted by
Yes.
Peter and Anne Marie when they first bought the property,
Okay.
so I would pick a lot of those ones, trying to beat
Mix it up, yeah.
the bugs and the birds, because they would kind of, you'd think like you have the most ripe strawberry and you turn it around and one of the robins had taken like a
my
good bite out
gosh.
of it, so yeah.
Oh, they have to eat too. I guess we have to
No,
be kind
it's
to them.
true.
All right, and
So we got
so
our
that's the
zest.
zest of 1 lemon and a tablespoon of lemon juice.
Yeah.
So I will get you a knife.
Yeah. Just cut that out.
And I love that she hardly measures things either. So
Do you have a
here
cutting board?
I'll get you a little cutting board
Yeah,
here.
Thanks. No, I know. The first boss that I ever had at the Celtic Lodge, he was like, "No spoons, Anne Marie, no spoons." I thought it was so funny. He was like, "There's no point."
That's right.
So I thought it was just really funny that he kind of from the start was like, "Don't do that."
So it's a good way to learn. So that you're getting about a tablespoon to tablespoon and a half in a half of lemon.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Especially with these juicers, they make it very easy to get the juice out versus by hand.
And of course, it's Pampered Chef.
Yeah, and then after that, you just need
A tablespoon of water?
tablespoon of water.
I can get you that. Here you go.
Thank you. And then we just need a little bit of cornstarch mixed with water.
Okay. And
So-
how much water do I mix it with? With
The
2 tablespoons
2
of water?
tablespoons of water.
Okay, so I will do the cornstarch, 2 tablespoons, and this is a half a tablespoon measure that I'm using because the other one is wet and I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And then, so was that 1 tablespoon? And
And then 2 more, yeah.
And then 2 tablespoons of water. Amazing how the cornstarch reacts.
Yeah, with the water to make like a paste when
Yeah.
you mix it in a little bit. It's a great thickener that,
Oh.
you know, sometimes pectin can be kind of a scary thing when you're making jam or other things.
Yes.
You're like, did I boil it long enough? And all this, and cornstarch, I
It's-
feel like it always comes to the rescue.
It really does, yeah. And you know what else I love about cornstarch is if I'm making a meal, and Cecil and I are putting a meal together for guests or whatever, and we have a few friends that have gluten intolerance.
Yeah.
You can make gravy with cornstarch just
Ah,
as well as
wow.
flour. So I like that. So there you go. And I'll bring the camera over so that people can actually
See what's going
on in that pot. I don't know what I did with the cover. Oh, there it is. All right. So you don't really feel any heat with that induction. So let me see. There we go. Sorry.
Nope.
There. All right.
Great. So yeah, we just have our blueberries on the stove with the sugar, the lemon, and a little bit of water. And basically what we want is just to kind of heat up the blueberries enough so they get a bit softer before we add our cornstarch, just to cook them down a little bit more.
Okay.
And they'll release a lot of all the good blueberry juices.
Oh, I know. I was amazed in how it started happening last night, you know. I was like, oh my God, it really cooked down fairly quickly.
Yeah.
It may have taken 4 to 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I know you have on there 5 to 10, but
Every stove is different, you know,
yeah.
especially, you know, if you have, whether you just have like a, you know, gas versus even
Yes.
induction.
Yeah.
Everything can go a different, same with every oven,
Yeah.
you know, every oven is different.
And I say that all the time, and I even have one of those little temperature gauges to put in my oven to see is it a true temperature?
Yeah.
And it always is, but then it can be different for other people.
Yeah.
And they say, well, it's 350. It must be 350, but it's different.
No, it is.
Yeah,
it totally is. And the first time I went picking wild blueberries was over in Ingonish at the top of Cape Smoky.
Oh my!
And
Were there any bears?
my coworker came with me, and he was like, Anne Marie, just so you know, there's a big moose like right by your car. And I was there because I had my head down just picking the blueberries, and I looked up and I couldn't believe it.
Oh my God!
It was like, and it was a big male moose.
Oh my
so I
gosh.
was like, geez. So.
Well, you know what? Around a month ago, I took my grandson Luke around the Cabot Trail, and we went on the what's that first trail?
Where were you at?
Up on one of the first mountains before you go over there. The
Mackenzie Mountain?
No, the walking trail. And anyway, we were there, and we went on this trail, and there was a moose and a calf, a female moose.
Oh, wow.
And her
the
calf.
baby.
Yeah, and they weren't supposed to be where we were.
Wow.
But, oh my God, we were so excited, and I took a video.
No,
But
you never
kept
know
my-
what you're going to see, right?
Kept my
On the Cabot
distance.
Trail.
Yeah.
All right, so this is pretty much ready to add our cornstarch and water. It's kind of boiled down a bit. You can see like there's a lot more
Oh,
blueberry
lots of
juice in there. The
juice.
color on the spatula, it's
Yeah.
really nice. So we're just going to add the water and the cornstarch there. And then sometimes the cornstarch sticks to the bottom, sometimes it doesn't. Just give it a little scrape. And then just kind of stir it pretty vigorously, just so that it doesn't burn on the bottom. And once you start to get bubbles and it's thickening, you know that the cornstarch is really doing its job.
It's really
And
working. Yeah.
You can see all the liquid, it's thickening now, so you're getting more of a compote consistency. So this is really what you want. And from here, all you want to do is just cool this down in the fridge. So then when your cake is ready, you have something else to kind of go on top.
Yes, yes. So we can put that in here, and I'll put it in the fridge. And I have the compote that I did last night that we will have on ours a little later on.
I think I got most of it. There we go.
Beautiful. Now, I will look after that. So, I'll put this back over here. Dangerous person being in charge of the camera. I'm just going to make sure there's no questions that anybody wants answered. There's 388 people watching you today, Anne Marie, because it's you.
No.
It's beautiful. She's so lovely, and there we are. All right, so I'm going to put that in the fridge. And do you recommend what I did, because I didn't know any better? You know how you don't want that the skin on the top?
Yeah.
Shall I put the saran wrap right
Right
touching
to the
top?
surface. Yeah.
Okay, and I'll
definitely.
put that in the fridge. We can do that. All right. I'll just show them what I mean. I'm sure they know what I mean, but it doesn't hurt. So I've just put it so that it's touching the very surface, and it should be in the fridge for 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah,
Yes.
and whenever you feel like it's cool enough for you, or you know, even sometimes it is nice warm too.
Yeah,
you know?
right. And
Especially-
here's the one that I made last night, and it's all ready to put on the cake. Which way do I go? This way. It's opposite. Anyway, so that's all set, and now we will make the cake. All right. So I should put it back a little bit so that you can see a little bit of your beautiful face there. All right. So what's next?
So
We're going to start with the cake.
And we have our oven at 350 already.
It's
just
all
in
ready.
preparation.
At 350. And maybe I can get the 9x13 pan ready for you.
Yeah.
So 9x13 pan, and I'm just going to, guess what? I'm not using parchment paper today, which I usually do, and I'm just going to butter it for her. You tell me if I'm putting too much butter on there.
No.
There's never too much butter, is
No,
there? Right?
adds more flavor to everything.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay. So that induction plate worked.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, no, it works great. I've used a few of those before. I remember a restaurant I used to work at, we sometimes did like a dessert with roasted pears and caramel and everything.
Okay.
So, but sometimes I would get so busy I'd forget about my caramel. And then it's like you know what happens when you
that's
forget
not a
about
good
caramel.
thing.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But no, they work great.
Well, and I'm sure lots of you know, okay, so I just buttered that. I'm sure a lot of you, if you know about, if you have an induction plate, or whatever you want to call it, when I got it, but I got it secondhand from when I worked out west, and they were throwing it away, and I said, I'm too Scotchy, and I said, you can't throw that away. I didn't know what it was, but I'm saying that's still too good. But the men, they were making the big money, and I was just a document controller, so I said, well, I'll take that, and I put it in my suitcase. So I had it for a long, long time, and then I took it out one day and I said, I'm going to see if this works. And I put it on, and I put a pot on it. It kept saying error, error. Only to find out when I Googled whatever that there's only certain pots that will work on an induction.
Yeah, the magnetic.
You have to test it to see if it's magnetic on the bottom, which means it has copper in it, I guess. And you that's what will activate the induction burner. So I was amazed, and I've used it a few times on the show, so I was really happy to have it when you don't want to be dragging the camera over to the stove and back again, right?
No, it works.
All right. So, what do you need?
So we'll start off with the sugar. So we're gonna get a 1 3/4 of a cup.
So I have my 1 cup and I have my 3/4 cup. I love this set.
No, they're really nice.
Oh, every possible measurement is here. Guess what? Pepper Chef. I'll just tell you a little bit about Tammy, our daughter, who was just home. She just went back on Tuesday. This is not working good. Okay, that's all right. I'll get that. Anyway, she had a party in my name because a lot of people. There was a big special on what are those things called? Those air fryers.
Oh,
yeah.
Those are really popular.
Yeah, and Pastry Chef had one. It's like $350 or something like that.
Wow.
And but it was on for half price, and a whole bunch of people and friends wanted it. So she started a party just in my name, and I got $200 worth of free product. So I was like a at Christmas.
Yeah, like if
I was picking all these things. I got an ice cream maker, just came yesterday,
Oh, wow.
and a few other little trinkets and toys, and I'm happy. Oh my God, 32 degrees Celsius in Beverly Edmonton Woods back deck. That we had such a heat wave this week. I thought it was going to melt myself. I was in Halifax and it was brutal, but the heat wave broke the night before last, and so today it's lovely and sunny and bright.
And breezy.
It's
Not
breezy,
too windy, but just like
Exactly.
You know,
Yes.
beautiful summer day.
Okay, now Anne Marie, what's next?
So we have our sugar, and then we're gonna do some more zest of lemon.
Okay.
So just 2 lemons we'll zest just right into the sugar. It's funny, this recipe. There was a lady last night at Woodroad who said, "You're on Tunes and Wooden Spoons tomorrow," and she was like, "What are you making?" And I said, "Oh, like this lemon cake that you have in my pre-dessert, that's what I'm making." And
So they had that on this month?
Yeah,
Cool.
exactly. So I told them, that's exactly what I'm doing, what you're having right now. Yeah.
So do you, is this a recipe that you may have had in your family, or is it one that you just made as a pastry chef?
So this recipe is not actually from my family, but I did get it cut from the Celtic Lodge from my first job.
Yes.
Yeah, so this was one that we used to make a lot for weddings or different banquets.
Yes.
Yeah, because there's a lot of weddings that it's so beautiful, right?
Oh, yes, the presentation is so nice. The picture you sent that I posted, it was just so nice.
Yeah, and at the Celtic Lodge, I totally understand, why so many people want to get married there. Like, just out, it's out on the peninsula with the ocean on either side of you. It's like breathtaking.
It's absolutely beautiful. We were there last summer, Cecil and I, and the restaurant, and of course we ended up knowing one of the waiters. He's from over in Waikagama, and it was just, it's just a beautiful scene. It really is. And they have some really good specials sometimes for those who want to golf there at Celtic Lodge too, and stay, and then you can eat as well. So it's wonderful.
Yeah.
So how basically would you get about 1.5 tablespoons of zest from a whole lemon?
Yeah, I'd say about that.
Yeah.
So maybe in this recipe, if you're not sure, maybe like between 2 to 3 tablespoons.
But you can't go wrong if you didn't measure. Just
No.
zest the whole lemon.
Yeah,
and you're done
exactly.
with this.
Exactly.
And the ones that I used last night when I made it, I just covered them with plastic wrap, and they're in the fridge, and I can use them myself.
Yeah, you can still use them, the juice of them.
Yeah.
Like, it's always great when you're cooking if you're looking to add a little bit more to, whatever.
Yeah.
Even in sauces, lemon juice goes really nicely. I love lemon in the summer and spring months. It's such a light, and just with any fruit, there's wild blackberries out right now too. Just the citrus pairs so well with the fruit, so I love it. I know a lot of people love chocolate desserts, and I do too. But I love the citrusy, fruity stuff.
I love lemon. I had the cleaning products that I have from that lemonade.ca, the people that sent me that. Just cleaning with it.
Yeah.
And it just gives that freshness, you know.
Definitely.
It's awesome.
We're almost done there. It's always hard to tell if you got all the little
Yeah.
bits when you're...
Anybody have any questions now? I'll just keep, I should be watching. Can you see? I'm sorry, you probably want to see.
So we have all of our lemon zest in there now.
I'm just going to bring the bowl over
Yeah.
just to show them the sugar and the zest. So she's going to mix that up.
Yeah, just give it a good mix just to let all the lemon kind of spread out throughout your sugar mix. And then after that
Is your eggs.
Yeah, our eggs and our cream.
Okay. So these are my local neighbor. They're eggs. Likes fresh eggs. I got them this morning too.
Yeah, no, they look wonderful.
Yeah. So can I just put them right
Oh
in
yeah,
there?
go right ahead.
And hopefully there'll be no shells.
I know. That's always the thing, you know. Especially when you sometimes if you just want the egg white or just the yolk, it's always.
Yeah. Now, where do you tap your egg, or what do you do?
I usually do it on the side of
You
a
do?
bowl too. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Okay.
And you can just, with your sugar and eggs and your lemon in there, just give it a good mix. And then after that, you can add your cream. But just mix everything till it's pretty much incorporated. So right now, you can see the eggs and the sugar and lemon, everything's pretty well mixed in. And then we'll just add our cream to it.
Okay, so I'm using blend cream, but you could use any kind of cream in this recipe.
Yeah,
could you?
yeah.
You could use full fat,
Yeah.
35%
Yeah.
whipping cream, which we're using in the cream cheese
Yeah, in the
frosting. But this is just blend cream, just 10%. So how much is it?
So we have 3/4 of a cup.
3/4 of a cup. Okay, let me put this down. I like how you can see.
Yeah,
The
it's
measure there.
easier.
Okay. All right, can you see that? All right. So just pour it all in.
Yeah, just pour it all in, and then we'll just give it another stir. You can see that it looks like there's a lot of cream in there, which there is, but it will all balance out when you add in your flour and baking soda.
Okay.
Just kind of give it a little bit of a mix.
Baking powder, right?
Oh yeah, baking
Baking
powder.
powder. Okay.
Always mix up the two.
And I'll get the dry ingredients ready. So you have 1 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll use the same 2 measuring spoons. And actually, now I know why that other bowl was on here.
For the flour. Yeah. Well, flour can get messy too, so
Yes.
that and cocoa powder.
Okay, and what's next? Baking powder?
Yeah, baking powder. So we just need 2 teaspoons of that, and then 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt.
Okay. Here we go. And do you do your salt like me?
Do you pour in your hand a
Yes.
little bit? I do the same. It goes everywhere sometimes when you try to put it in the spoon, you know?
Exactly. How about that?
Yeah, no, that's perfect.
Actually, somebody gave me this, a McClellan lady.
Oh, wow.
And these are so cute.
They
It's
are.
a pinch, a hint, a drop. Look at that. And a smidge. Isn't that
Oh, wow.
cute?
That's adorable.
Yeah.
I find anything mini is automatically
No, I
cute.
just love it. Love it.
Yeah.
So I will mix up the dry ingredients there. All right. And do I pour it in all at the same time?
Yeah, you can go right ahead, just dump everything.
I don't put the butter goes in at the last.
Yeah, the butter goes in last. When I used to make this recipe a lot, I'd always, okay, I have everything, and I'd forget about the butter. Because the last thing is you assume that you added everything in.
Exactly. So I have a 1/4 cup of butter here. I can just melt it. It's unsalted butter.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to do that. And it'll take about 15 seconds for this, I think. Is that the next item that's going in here?
Yeah, we can add the butter and then the blueberries at the end.
Okay.
So this is the cake mixture right now with the flour and all the dry ingredients in it. And if you find that you have a little bit of lumps from the flour, you can always just take a whisk and just give it a little bit of a whisk just to get rid of any other little lumps that you might see. And it really goes a long way. So you can do that.
Okay.
Our butter, and you can just pour that right in.
Pour that right in?
Yeah. It's great. Let me just give it a little mix there.
I was doing it verbatim last night. I was saying, "Oh gosh, fold in the butter," and I was thinking, "Okay, I'll fold it in," and so it was great to know that you can just stir it up like that.
Yeah. So we pretty much have our cake mix all ready here. We have all the ingredients except the blueberries, but we're just going to add those in on top.
On the top. That's what I did too. Exactly the way you said it.
Once we pour it in our greased pan.
And how many servings would Woodrow get out of that?
So I would probably be able to do maybe 1 or 2 nights out of this.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, so, I've been making a lot of this cake this whole month. For the month of August, although we're nearing the end, but it's always, I really like it. But yeah, and then you got your wild blueberries here.
So there's it's close to 2 cups,
Yeah.
but what was 1.5 is probably what you wanted, but
yeah,
there's no reason why.
If there's more, it's always
It's
great.
okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
So, yeah, you could just kind of take a handful and pour them in. And again, I know you had a question from somebody earlier about frozen blueberries, and those work out great too.
Someone's asking if they can half the recipe.
Yeah, and you should be able to put it in like
an 8x8.
Yeah, an 8x8.
An 8x8. Yeah. Great. I am great at halving recipes. That seems to work for me. But I'm telling you, I don't like doubling recipes.
No.
I don't know. It's just never the same.
And sometimes it's always like you're like, I did the exact math, but it didn't quite work out the same.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Do you check for the little stems on the blueberries? Yes, we went over every one of those darn little things. I did that actually last night, and Mark and Elaine, who picked the blueberries, they already washed and stemmed.
Wow.
And they did all of that
All the
work,
hard
but
work.
I was checking just in case. So there now. So it's all ready.
Yeah, so
We'll put that over in
cake
front of them.
with all the blueberries in there. You can see there's a lot of them in there, but it's
It'll only make it better.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we're putting that in 350 oven. For how long is it? It's 25 to 30 minutes. Now, in my oven, last night it took 32 minutes before it came out clean.
Okay.
I checked at the 30-minute mark, and you know, it was just
Close,
it was so close. And I just put it back in for 2 minutes, and it was perfect.
Yeah.
And so I'll put it in the oven.
Yeah. Wonderful.
We'll let that cook. So I'll put it on for 30 minutes, but we'll check at 30 minutes.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
And whatever. So can you make it into a loaf?
Oh yeah, you definitely can. This recipe, maybe you'd want to half it.
Yeah.
Just for
Or make 2 loaves?
Yeah, 2 loaves or half it, depending. And it might take a little longer to bake. Obviously, it'll be a bit thicker, but
yeah.
maybe just
You just have to
adjust
do the
baking.
test,
Yeah.
right? And the other thing I was going to say, I have a recipe on the website. I think it was an orange blueberry loaf I made last year.
Yeah.
So, very similar, and I think it just made the one. But you know, you could try that measurement too, and
Substitute.
just make substitute that. Okay, so are we ready to make
Our
the frosting?
Yeah.
And then voila, we have one that's already made. Maybe this will be cooked by the time we're done. But I have the kettle boiling, and we're going to make some tea. This is really kind of going to be a shorter show, but I think it'll be fine. It'll be just fine.
Definitely.
All right, so I'm going to wash the bowl so you can tell them about what you're doing with the cream cheese.
Yeah, so basically the cream cheese frosting is just whipping cream, icing sugar, a bit of vanilla, and some cream cheese. And I love this recipe because you can use it on so many different things. Like obviously, if you're not making a lemon cake, you can put it even on a chocolate cake or even brownies, or even this is the base of what I make when I make a no-bake cheesecake. It's essentially this. I basically make a graham cracker crust, this filling, and I pipe it into, you know, whatever mold you want to use, and then I put a jelly on top. So I really like this recipe, and I've made it hundreds of times over the years of kind of working in restaurants. So it's kind of the tried and true one for me that I use a lot. And this recipe I'm also using at Woodrow right now in my pre-dessert to go with the lemon cake. So it's something that that seems to be a crowd favorite too. It's one that's like very, you know, you can really taste the cream cheese, but it's not super sweet, which is always nice too, because sometimes certain recipes can be really sweet, so it is nice to have something that you can kind of use for several different things, not just like one recipe. So
What I liked about Woodrow is that, you know, the dessert came, and I was saying, oh, this is so lovely. This is so nice. It was so fresh, and there was some kind of a crushed ice or something that you had.
Granite, yeah.
Oh, that was so delicious. But that wasn't the end of it.
No.
There was another dessert after that, the eclair.
Yeah.
And then there was these little tiny things that
the truffles and
truffles.
the macarons, the little cookies. Yeah.
Oh my God, I was in heaven. You know how I love my sweets. Will this frosting keep in the freezer? Tracy McGuire is asking.
So it would keep in the freezer. You might just have to, you know, when you take it out, to put it in the fridge first and then kind of take it out. And you might need to whip it up again, just because sometimes cream cheese doesn't always freeze quite the same as when it's in the fridge. So it just might need to re-whip it with a mixer again, just to kind of get it more light and fluffy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. There now. That's a good question. Now, I'm sorry if I missed any questions that you have, but I'll be more of a watcher in a few right now. So you're going to start with this, and
we just need. So we need our whipping cream, which
whipping cream is
we're
in the
gonna
fridge.
get 200 milliliters, basically about like 1 cup, and then we're gonna add the icing sugar with that. So
Okay, so I'll put this down a little bit. Tracy McGuire says thank you very much. Okay, so about will I fill it up to 200?
yeah.
I best.
Yeah, no, I always forget.
Yeah.
I've done that. Usually, like, why isn't anything coming out?
So this is whipping cream, 35% full fat here, and it's pretty much a cup. just 250, whatever that is.
Yeah. And then we'll just put that in our bowl.
And
And then from there, we're going to add
A
our
cup.
icing sugar.
a cup of icing sugar. And because I have such a small little opening here, what'll I do? I'm going to use my quarter cup.
Yeah, it fits perfect.
Yeah. And this is. Can you use the same thing to keep your icing sugar soft as you do in brown sugar? I have a little clay thing.
I actually haven't tried that because
But there's just humidity at this time of year.
sometimes it
And
sticks together.
yeah, right? Okay, and
And we're just gonna add our vanilla.
Two teaspoons?
You have some really nice vanilla.
Yeah,
like
I love
the
it.
good stuff, the pure
the
vanilla.
real thing.
Yeah, no.
And that bottle was given to me by a lovely lady in Mabu, Kathleen Boyle. And she got it from our Watkins representative who is in Mabu, Josephine McCachran. And she's just the best. I'll call and I'll say, you know what? I'm almost out of vanilla. I'll be out in 5 minutes.
Oh wow,
She'll
that's
come.
wonderful.
Isn't that great
the
service?
inside source. Yeah.
And they make a lot of good products. I love their hand soap, their foaming hand soap. It's great too.
Wonderful. So you can do either 2 teaspoons or I'm usually not a measurer, so I just kind of do like 1, 2, but again, 2 teaspoons is definitely enough. So if you're used to using the measuring spoons. And then from here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna mix the cream and the icing sugar just until about soft peaks form, which we'll show you that before we start to add the cream cheese. So, and you can use, if you have a KitchenAid mixer, that works great too, or if you just have a hand mixer, that works. Obviously, if you're really old school and you want to whip it up by hand, you can too. But your arm, it's quite the workout. I'll say that.
I do have one of those KitchenAid, well, it's not KitchenAid mixers, but I rarely use it because when I'm baking with everybody here, and I want to show to them that
The steps,
that you can really,
without the tools.
you can have basic tools. I mean, you don't have to go into a big expense to get those tools. So you can make all the noise you want.
Okay. See, it's thickened up a little bit, but we still want to get a little bit more of a soft peak there, so I'm just going to keep on mixing it. a little bit thicker. I'd say just another little bit, and then we're gonna add our cream cheese to it. So you can see here that it's started to thicken up a lot more. Just some soft peaks, like you don't, even if you over whipped it, it's still gonna be okay. So don't worry about that, but soft peaks, even medium peaks is totally okay. And then from there, you can start to add your cream cheese, which is what we have here. So it's 2 8-ounce packages of just the Philadelphia cream cheese. Even if you got the no-name stuff, still works completely the same. And what I do is I'll start to add in a little bit at a time. So I'll add some in, mix it, add some more, and then just do one kind of big mix near the end. So I'm just gonna add the cream cheese. So you can see that I have just a little bit in there, and I'm just gonna start to mix that. No, oh, thanks. So I mixed in the first little bit. You can still see there's some chunks in there. That's okay, because we're gonna still keep mixing it, and they will get a lot smaller, but don't worry about like if you see any little bits of cream cheese, don't worry, because we're just gonna keep mixing.
Yes. So how long do you, when you say you want a room temperature cream cheese, how long out would you say?
Like I'd say probably about an hour or an hour and a half, and it depends, in the summer it goes a lot quicker sometimes, yes. Like depending on your house.
I probably had that out for about 3 hours. So.
Yeah, so
and it doesn't go bad anyway,
no.
Even the longer you leave it. Okay.
No, exactly. So it's gauge how warm your house is,
yes.
especially if you have a wood stove, probably gets really,
yes.
warm pretty quick.
Very true.
But yeah, so we're just gonna mix in this and then kind of go from there. Okay. I might just use a spatula just to scrape around the sides.
Yeah.
Make
I
sure
have-
everything's incorporated.
Have another one here.
Great, thanks. Just get there, and then I'm just gonna add the rest of the cream cheese into the mix. And then we're just gonna do our final mix of everything, and then you have your frosting. So we'll just add another little mix. There's a pesky little fly.
The KitchenAid mixer is so much faster, probably.
Yeah, to whip up the cream, it just goes a lot faster.
Yeah.
So it might seem like I'm here for an eternity, but it's like just sometimes the way the beaters work, it doesn't always whip up the cream as fast as you think it will. And just get all the lumps, because when I use my KitchenAid, it just gets it all.
Really fine.
Yeah, but I have made this at home on my my mixer at my parents' place.
Yeah.
And it's worked fine, so it could just be that it's pretty warm right now.
And there's a pulse or a thing you can push to make it go faster too.
Yeah, I just don't want to get it everywhere.
Don't worry about that.
Sounds like it's in high speed now.
Yeah. I can help.
I'll clear that a little bit.
And that's why we wear aprons.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I know on KitchenAids they have little things to block.
A guard.
Yeah, they sell them now to like block any of the stuff that
Spray.
flies out, or I think somebody I used to work with, they're like, it's a flower shower, and you turn it on and you turn it on too fast and the flower goes everywhere. Yeah. No, so this is the frosting here. As you can see, it's gotten quite a bit thicker from when we first started, just the cream cheese and everything. And again, even if there's like a little bit of lumps, it's okay. You can continue mixing and they will go down.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, that's what always happens with cream cheese. Even when you're making cheesecake, there's always going to be a couple little lumps that you're just like, I'm trying to get rid of, but they just don't want to go.
Yeah.
But from here, you can either put it in the fridge at a later use if you're not going to eat your cake just yet. But obviously, we have the cake that you made yesterday.
Yes.
So from here, you can put it in a piping bag if you want. So we have...
That's okay.
We just have like a little piping tip here. And again, you can find most piping tips at most, you know, any kind of craft store, or even a lot of the grocery stores carry them now too.
Yes, they do.
And I have a disposable piping bag here, but you can find reusable ones too. At most craft stores, or even online now, they carry a lot of things online, which is just great. And what I do, just to put the piping tip in, I put it in, so the tip is there, it's in, and then I just take scissors and I mark kind of where the tip is, so that I know that's where I'm gonna cut, and that none of the frosting is kind of explode out, as long as you don't make too big of a hole there. So just take your scissors, cut, and then you have your piping tip in there, and it's secure, and you know that nothing is kind of come out the sides, which is what you want.
That is such a great demonstration, because I've always wanted to do that, but I have a plastic one that I got from Pastry Chef, but I've often looked at those bags and the tips and thinking, how do they work exactly?
Yeah, and when you have a reusable one, you know, if most of your piping tips are the same size, you can just cut it and then it should fit most of them. But or if you feel like, you know, you use a lot of the same one, it can be useful too, instead of, you know, the disposable ones are great too, because you don't have to worry about cleaning them, which is nice when you're in a time crunch, but the reusable ones are great too. So
you don't, for this recipe, so you don't use any of those that have an edger on it, decorative mix, you know.
Yeah, well, you can for sure use them.
Right.
Yeah, today I just have like a round more plain one, but you can definitely use any kind of decoration, like ones that have that kind of create different patterns on your cake. It's very versatile. So from here, we're just gonna put the frosting in the piping bag.
An ice cream lid will also help it from flying out of the bowl when mixing. I use a large lid, cut the center out, and put, I can't see it.
Well, that's a great tip too.
And she moved that from her grandma.
Yeah, that's a great tip.
It's awesome.
Right. Okay. So we have, and you don't have to put all of the frosting in your bag, because again, you don't want stuff coming out the other end of it. When you have too much in the mix, then it can become a mess. So just about halfway full is great.
I'll just take this away so that you can cut up the...
So we have our frosting, and then we have the lovely cake that was made yesterday. And
last night at 11 p.m.
Oh my God!
I worked all week in Halifax, and I got home last night, and I said, I've got to make this tonight so that we can have it, because the cake would be too hot.
Yeah.
But it was so easy, an easy recipe to follow.
Oh my goodness.
I made a mess of the
I was gonna say, was that me?
that was me. That was me. So if you want to show them how to cut the cake.
Yeah, so...
And you can cut a couple pieces for you and I.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll be cheating by having 2 pieces, one for dessert tonight.
Yeah, so you can kind of cut it however you want. Like, I usually stick more with squares, so I just kind of cut 2 lines here, and then just go the other way.
And I will get a little spatula here. I don't know if this one's too stiff.
We'll see how we go. It's always hard to get the first piece out.
Yes,
you know?
always.
We'll probably get 2 of them at once. Alright. There's one piece.
Beauty.
Corner one. There we go. And then, so we have our cake. Then we have So we have the 2 slices there. They're beautiful plates you have.
Yes. Those plates, so many of my viewers know this, but in January of 2020, I lost a really good friend of mine.
Yeah.
And her name was Margaree. And she, after about a 6-month illness. And a little while after she died, her husband came with a set of dishes for me to remember her by.
Wow.
And also a really nice hydrangea bush that I planted, and I called them Margaree's
special.
dishes and
Yeah.
whatever. So any chance I get to showcase them,
Yeah.
I will.
No,
I
they're
love
beautiful.
them. I love them. I love them.
Yeah.
Because it makes me remember her. Even
Yeah,
then,
and all
you know?
the, fond memories. And
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So from here, we have our frosting and we have our compote. So we're just going to decorate the cake. And
Okay. I'm going to watch you doing that.
So again, you can put as much or as little as you want. I'm someone, I love frosting. So
Yes.
there's always that cake to frosting ratio.
I'm going to get
But-
you to do it close to the
Yeah.
camera so they can really see.
Yeah, so this one we're just kind of I'm just doing in a circle. But again, if you have different, piping nozzle, you might want to do a different design. But this one, we're just keeping it pretty simple. And then from there, we got the compote that you made last night. But
Yes.
we made earlier also. And
Do you need another spoon to kind of put it on with? Or to use the 2 of them if you want, if it doesn't drop off. Very good.
Go.
Lovely.
And then we have the blueberry cake with the cream cheese frosting and the blueberry compote on top.
Oh my gosh, this is beautiful. Okay, Anne Marie, you have worked very hard here. You're going to sit down. I'm going to serve you a cup of tea. So you have a seat right here.
Okay.
And I'm going to sit over there, actually.
great.
Yep. I'm going to sit over there. There now. And there's a pesky fly. And again, it's coming into September. We're just going to put this over here. And I'm going to pour you, and you're taking black tea. And I have a little milk in my tea.
Yeah.
I'll give you a Cape Breton cup. 'Cause
Oh, well, thank you.
we've made a Cape Bretoner out of her.
Most definitely. Yeah, but, 7 summers so far.
7 summers so far. So see if we can get, there's Anne Marie. And she's got her,
Yeah, got
her
the
lovely
cake.
dessert and her
Got
Cape
the
Breton
tea.
cup of tea. And so there. And here is mine. It does look delicious, isn't it? It's so nice to have somebody who really knows what they're doing. But I'm going to have the first taste test. I can't wait. The one that's in the oven has 2 minutes left in it, so I'll show you that one. See if I can get this without that fly bothering me. Okay. Oh my God, is it ever good? What a good hit of lemon, too.
Nice. Glad you enjoyed it.
Oh, I love it. I have to have a second bite.
Nice for, after dinner or mid-afternoon, if somebody shows up and you're like, oh, well, I have this.
My Cape Breton teacup, china cup. Oh, somebody's watching from the pub in Manitoba.
Oh, wow.
I wonder if our CMP, where you are in the PA in Manitoba, I missed your name. But a friend of my son, Sheldon Beaton, our CMP officer, was in the PA for many years. He may still be there. And I just want to say hello to Sheldon and his lovely wife, Becky. And she's the one who gave me the recipe for the pumpkin roll. Okay, I am going to check on the cake. I'm going to turn you over to the lovely Anne Marie.
I know.
And tell
I already got a bite into it. I couldn't wait either.
So, Anne Marie, why don't you tell them about your training and where you have worked, like especially working with cheese?
So I'm from Dartmouth, but I went to pastry school at Holland College in PEI. And outside of that, my first job was over at the Celtic Lodge in Ingonish. And I had not really been to Cape Breton before, only one time with my family, just traveling to go to Newfoundland. So I didn't really know what I was kind of getting myself into in terms of like where I was going to be living, but I was so pleasantly surprised and amazed just how beautiful Ingonish and Cape Breton is. And I was really excited, to be working at a hotel, and that's where I met Daryl, who is the chef at Wood Road. And at the time, my pastry chef boss, his girlfriend was from Cape Breton, but he was actually from France. They just met and would work and travel together. So I was like, wow, this is such a great opportunity just to work under somebody who has so much experience. And it was really intense in terms of, he had very high expectations, and I was, ready to try to meet some of them as much as I could as a student, and then after, so it was seasonal till the end of October, and after that, he, said, Anne Marie, if you would like to, learn more and be able to, accelerate that much more, I can help you get a job in England. And so I, at the time was like, so this is Alexi, actually. He is my boyfriend, and he was checking out some of the beaches in Port Hood, because I've been to Port Hood once before, but Alexi has not been, so he was kind of checking out the beaches while we were making the lemon cake. But and we actually met at the Celtic Lodge, so it's amazing how many people meet and all the love stories that happen from the Celtic Lodge. There's the lady at the Celtic Lodge who, her name's Diane, and she and her partner, they both met at the Celtic Lodge, and they're both local to Ingonish. They've been working there for over 25 years, and she was like, it's another Celtic love story. She was very excited. But after working at the Celtic Lodge for 1 year, I did go and work in England at a different restaurant that my boss had worked at. So it was a great opportunity just to learn and to grow just as a person, I had to do everything on my own in terms of like setting up a British bank account and all the logistic stuff that just makes you realize how much you can do on your own. So yeah, and after that, I while being in England, I just I realized how much I appreciate Canada and appreciate the Celtic Lodge and Cape Breton and just a bit more work-life balance. So I decided to go back and work at the Celtic Lodge, and I was there for 3 more years after that. And I was kind of promoted to being the pastry chef, so it was a great learning experience for me, just to be able to train other people and just to grow more. So Cape Breton, and especially Ingonish, to me holds a special place in my heart for, where I kind of started with pastry, which, and every time I go back there, I'm always amazed at how beautiful it is, and all of the people there, they're just so wonderful, and I'm just grateful.
It's wonderful, wonderful. And here is Anne Marie's dessert with a little Cregnish Mountain
Wild blueberries.
wild blueberries. Isn't that beautiful? And I tested, and it took 34 minutes today. Isn't that funny?
I know, it's funny.
You just
Never know, and everybody's oven is different and everything.
It's a little different.
You're gonna take your first bite?
I did. It's
Oh, I
really
didn't
good.
know you took your first bite.
Obviously, very good.
Yeah. So this young man, so what were you doing at the Celtic Lodge when you met her?
So, I was cooking, but obviously I didn't go to cooking school or anything.
Summer job.
Yeah, it was a summer job because I was still a student. And my first year there, I was washing dishes. You know, just my first ever job, and the job is, you know, you're washing dishes, but it's just the view and the people that you work with, and like the family,
Yes.
like the family.
Yeah.
Your
feel.
work family.
bond.
They become
Yeah.
family.
Because, you know, I'm from a big city, and there, when you work in a restaurant, you just work in the restaurant, and once you're done, you go home and you do your own things, but you don't feel like you're making friends and like
Yeah.
making those connections. And at the Celtic Lodge, it's the opposite.
It's a great great
Yeah.
thing.
Like
Yes.
I remember my first day there.
You were not as good at English then.
Oh my God, no, my English was much.
So it's from Montreal you're from?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm from
Yes.
Montreal, and my first day there, I do dishes, I know no one, and then like the sous chef comes to me and he's like, "Oh, do you want to like go party tonight? Have fun." Like, you know, it's so inclusive, and you don't see that
In too many
Montreal
places.
or-
No.
Yeah. So,
Oh, that's so nice.
yeah,
What a
when
nice
I-
story.
yeah, when I met Anne Marie, I was a cook there. Yeah.
There now.
Yeah.
Then just see, food brings people together.
That's right. Yes.
So everyone, wasn't this a wonderful day with Anne Marie? Just a lovely young lady with a lot of experience she's still so young. It's a beautiful thing. But anyway, we're coming to the end of the show, so I have a few things. I don't know yet what I am doing next week. I just have to take it a week at a time. But I will let you know on Tuesday or Wednesday. But I wanted to say a couple of things today. I want you to see this. I got home last night from working all week, and this was sitting on my table. And I said, where in the world did this come from? Anyway, Jessie McKinnon, formerly from Port Hood, who lives in Boston, remembered back months ago when I was talking about how hard it is to get these teapots, especially when you have a crowd. Like this is a big, I think it's a nine cups it holds. And when you have Kayleys and gatherings and whatever, you want to make sure you have a big pot of tea on. Jessie McKinnon, if you were watching today, thank you, thank you, thank you. You can't buy these anymore. You are lucky to get it at a secondhand store. And she was able to find this and she gave that to me. So Jessie, I appreciate this so much. I want to thank you over the airwaves. I did see her in church this morning, but she was gone. As soon as I got out of church, she was gone. And I said, well, by gosh, I'm going to do this right on here. So thank you very much. And the other thing I want to say is this week on Wednesday, my cookbook is out on Wednesday. And actually, if you go on Amazon.ca now and put in Tunes and Wooden Spoons, it comes up that it's not ready. You can order it. You can pre-order it on there, and they will send it to you after September the 1st. I was so excited. And if you scroll down all the way, you know how on Amazon they advertise other things underneath what item you're looking at. But if you scroll way down, you'll see more information. And there's nice quotes there from Dr. Strang, from Natalie McMaster, from Leslie Crew, and from Lyndon McIntyre. I'm so proud of that. And so that's on September the 1st. And so if you want to watch for that. And the other thing I'll be advertising this week is I'll be posting something about the book launch, which is happening here at our parish hall in Port Hood on September the 25th. And Company Road, that's our kids' band. And they're Brennan and daughter Kelly and Mitchell will be at the hall to entertain. And Brennan's daughter, Anna, who named Tunes and Wooden Spoons, is going to be singing there as well. And Margie and Dawn Beaton, my two nieces, are going to be there. And there'll be an issue with the capacity, so we'll have to have people coming in and then leaving and then more coming in if there's a lot of people. I don't know just yet how that will go, but it's pretty exciting. But the other thing that I want to talk to you about today is somebody who was very special to me, but I never had the opportunity to meet in person. And that person is Mary O'Hanley from Glace Bay. Mary O'Hanley is 94, and from the time I started Tunes and Wooden Spoons, she watched the show every Sunday. And if she didn't get to watch it on Sunday, she would watch it the next day. And her daughter, Donna Curry, always got it for her, so they would watch it together. And every now and again, they would send me a beautiful text or messenger note just talking about what I made and how proud they were. And this Mary O'Hanley raised 8 children and cooked a lot. And at Christmas time, her daughter, not Donna, but another daughter, died very suddenly. And you might remember that her daughter had given her for Christmas a little angel ornament and told her to leave it up all year. And then that daughter died very suddenly. So Mary was very, very saddened about that. And I really felt strongly that I wanted to do something for her. And I sent her an angel book from the Chicken Soup for the Soul series, and I sent that to her, and she really enjoyed that. But you know, all the time, maybe sometimes every week or every second week, I'd get a nice note from Donna Curry that Mom wanted to tell you this or that. So last week she watched Ashley's show with her daughter. Didn't watch it right away live, she watched it later that night. And Mary died on Monday morning very suddenly. They got her to the hospital, but she passed away. But she lived a beautiful life, and she was so important to her family. And she's at peace, and they celebrated her life. And this week, I celebrated Mary by myself, and I had a good hot cup of tea and a hot biscuit and with warm butter, because one of the things that Mary mentioned was that when I have a nice hot biscuit that's out of the oven and you know, if it's cooled down a little bit, I take a fork and I prick it all the way around the outside, just like you would an English muffin, and you open it up and there's all these little magic holes that the butter can go in and melt. So she wanted her biscuits cut like that too, and her daughter mentioned that to me. So Mary, if you're up there, I love you, and I hope you're watching over me, and I want to thank Donna and her family for really letting me know all about Mary, this beautiful human being who was, and when I read her obituary and I could see her picture, now I know what she looks like, you know, she really blessed a lot of people in her life. So here's to you, Mary, and hello to Donna, and I know that they have been graced with her presence for 94 years, so that's a good life lived. So everybody, know that you matter to me. Every one of you matter to me, and there's many Marys out there that are the same. So I want to have a little sip of tea just for Mary O'Hanley. That's a good one. And so have a wonderful week. Love one another, because I love you. Bye-bye, everybody.
Hey, hi, it's me, Charlie. If you like Grandma's videos, make sure to give it a like and subscribe. Give it a like and subscribe.